Ladies and gentlemen, as we bring our special budget series, Budget Bites 2025, to a close, a very special guest joins NDTV. Baba Kalyani, the head of the second largest forging company in the world after German Behemoth, joins NDTV. My first question to you, Baba Kalyani, is what are your opening remarks or what are your first thoughts about this budget?
I feel the budget is very optimistic and a smart budget. We are all over the world, especially in India, going through a very dynamic geopolitical environment amidst all the tariff fears and instability that is being witnessed in many countries in the world. And that requires a very stable macroeconomic outlook and a fiscal prudence, which is the key. And I think this budget kind of reflects that. Also, there is a continued focus on the major sectors, government capex, infrastructure, railways, defense. Although in the defense area, we would like more. We would like to see a push for defense exports. This is a big opportunity for India to do that. And that would be one of the asks from the industry side.
And my next logical question would be that this budget has given a massive or a mega relief on the income tax front. Do you think that that kind of relief has the potential to spur demand through increased money in the hands of the people?
The 1 lakh crore relief in the income tax is probably the biggest that the government of India has ever done, or the finance minister has ever done in a budget. I would wait. I would not pass a judgment on that. I believe that it's something that is good, that will accelerate consumption. That will accelerate consumption from the middle class, the salaried class. And I still believe that's a good thing to do. The other good things that the government has done is focusing on MSMEs, enlarging their size and scope, and giving them help and making them exporters. Any country in the world that aspires to be a manufacturing nation needs to create a much larger MSME sector. I have said this for the last 5-7 years. This limits that we have on MSMEs, earlier it used to be 5 crores, then it became 10 crores, something else. They're very absurd. MSMEs in Europe, some of them are 1 billion euro companies. So I think we need to revisit this, and I'm glad the government is doing that. If you grow the MSME sector, the manufacturing sector grows, and employment grows, consumption grows. It's the key to India's manufacturing dreams, if I want to call it. And of course, the government is also focusing on the manufacturing sector itself. There's a manufacturing mission that is put in. And I like very much the focus on agriculture productivity, especially going towards the older Indian, let's say, crops. And like last year, it was all about going to, instead of wheat, millet. We went to millet. Now the focus is on pulses, going to makhana. We need to get back to the old Indian ways of doing things. It is not only healthy, it's easy for the agricultural sector to produce. This imported variety of products that we are trying to copy and make, they really don't work very well. So I'm very happy about that. Although I'm not in the agricultural sector, but I think for the country it's good.
But there is some criticism also, Baba Kalyani, coming the way of the government, saying that the budget is too singularly focused on the taxpayer or a certain section or the segment of the middle class. What do you think? What do you say about that criticism that is coming the government's way?
I mean, I don't understand the criticism because you have to look at the country as a whole uh, and the resources that we have at our disposal. I mean, as our resources increase, as our per capita GDP increases, per capita income increases, the resources become more, and we can do many more things. We have to first start navigating a pathway to make that happen. And that's most important. I think that is what Madam Finance Minister has done with these budgets. Even her earlier budgets were, in that direction. So we need to. Everybody wants, more and more things. Everybody wants better things. Of course, even we want better things in manufacturing. But we understand the limitations. Also, we need to understand that there is a whole lot of geopolitical changes that are taking place in the world. You got a new government in the United States. You saw yesterday and heard the levies, the tariffs that have been put on Mexico, Canada, and China. And this is pretty frightening. This whole situation. Now the reaction that will come in. You got elections in Germany coming in this month. So a lot of changes that are going to happen, and I think we have to wait and watch the impact of these changes before we start seeing how our budget process and our new programs that the government's announced will take effect. I personally think that government has done the right thing, keeping the economy stable, the macro stable in this situation. It's a very difficult situation to navigate, and we have to keep things, our macros, very, very stable in this highly dynamic geopolitical situation.
And my final question to you, Baba Kalyani, would be that there is a lot of criticism about the private capex formation, etc., etc., that low private capex. Do you think that this middle class income tax relief can spur the demand and consequently leading into higher private capex as well?
I think you will see a surge in private capex. I mean, I don't know surge, what we call it a surge, but you will definitely see an increase in private capex. If you see our own companies, our capex is going to go quite high this year compared to the last 2-3 years. We have to also understand that between 2020 and 2023, we came out of a very serious pandemic called COVID, and everybody was quite taken aback by the kind of things that happened in those 3 years. So people obviously have been more careful and let's say more nuanced by that thing. But consumption, once consumption starts improving, which is what the story for this budget is, then I think capex will improve. And from the industrial manufacturing side, capex would have gone much higher, except for these geopolitical issues that have come up. So we have to allow a few months for these geopolitical issues to get settled down, this whole tariff game to get settled down, both action, reactions to get settled down, and then I think the real story will start.
Baba Kalyani, an industrialist, a businessman with very clear and precise thoughts, never afraid to articulate them. Thank you very much for joining NDTV.